Good morning, YouTubers. How's it going this morning? It's the shit that pisses you off, lady. Today's show, it's a weekend special. I just wanted to start off by saying, fuck you, Mr. J. Rockerfeller. That is a bunch of bullshit what you said about MSN and Fox. Yeah, there's a few on there that I really don't care for. But you know what? That's my tolerance of my First Amendment right. I have to be tolerant of what other people say, regardless of how I feel about it. But anyhow, that was for you. Do you want to see my trick? It's called double flip. Double backflip. Anyhow, got that off my chest, you know. I wish the FCC would take them down. You are such a fucking Nazi. But you're a Rockefeller, right? Rockefeller? What's that saying? From Axl Rose. I know he's not exactly, but I mean, he's a songwriter. Can't deny that. And if he didn't write these words, I'm sorry. I don't have the album in front of me where I can look at who wrote it. But in the song Civil War, it's plain as day, folks. War feeds the rich, or should I say feeds the Rockefellers while it buries the poor. This is where we're at. So, like I said, Mr. Rockefeller, yeah, you can sit on it, okay? All right, on to my next subject. I told you all a little bit about myself. I run a business, per se. It's totally not for profit because I'm 600 in the hole about, I don't know, that's just a guess. That's overestimation, just from everything from beginning to end. But one thing I've always done, and I've done for years, I've always helped people out through the legal system. I'm not an attorney. I do not have an degree, but I do know a little bit about it, enough to float. And I helped a gal out. I called Patty Murray's office. When you call as a constituent, aka voter, and they don't want your name or your phone number, they're blowing the smoke up your ass, okay? They're blowing smoke up your ass. Don't put up with it, okay? Patty Murray, like I said, I didn't vote for you. I voted for myself because Rossi, he dropped the ball. He dropped the football, folks. He did not take, when it got kicked out of that Wenatchee court, that federal court there, it went straight over to Washington, D.C. That's the next chain in the chain of command. I would have taken it straight over there because our governor cheated her way into office. Yes, Washingtonians, I'm saying it. She cheated her way into office. The magical third recount, I have not forgotten that. That is what stopped. I quit voting. I quit voting because my vote fucking didn't count. That's what we the people are fucking tired of. We are fucking tired of us being treated like pieces of shit, okay? We're tired of it. We are so tired of it. But anyhow, these politicians, I'm trying to help her out because we're getting severe cuts. And they always strike the poor first. They always do that because then, people get up in arms and then they will want to support these bullshit, evil bullshit that they like to pass. Just like John Boehner. No, Boyer. The guy with the eyes, the Republican that's going to be in power of his little house over there. I think they should put Ron Paul, but you know what? That's their fucking fault. That's their fault. They'll go down. Bonner, he's the guy that picked up the health care bill and threw it down on the floor. And blah, blah, blah. See, I watch those shows, dude. I watch. They have them on C-SPAN. You can see them live in action. You can see that to me. His face, I swear up and down, I've seen him in the commercial end of things. Like I've seen his face. Maybe he did a bit part in an acting something. I don't know. He just looks like an actor to me. I don't know. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to see what he does because I haven't really paid attention much to that man. But it'll be his time to shine and we'll see how it is. But Mr. Paul, please run in 2012. Please. I'm going to buy a sign, a big old sign for my fence because my fence faces Highway 24 from Yakima to Othello to connect up to 395, and there's a lot of traffic there, sir. So, and people are going to see it. And underneath of it, I'm gonna see how much it's gonna cost to laminate fluorescent board. I mean, boing. I'm gonna get like green or something, and I'm gonna put "End the Fed." so people can see that big as shit when they're driving down Highway 24. But anyhow, I'm trying to help this girl, and I'm calling. Patty Murray passes the buck, and then they pass me back to a state entity, which I'm not going to mention names, and went into a big giant circle jerk. That's called the circle jerk, folks, and there's a way to avoid the circle jerk. When you get back to the original spot you started at, but now they've figured out a way how to do it. They've filtered that to a number when it's past the business hours, and they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that till you call. So if you're calling past the business hours, you get circle jerked back to the bridge to nowhere. There, you go nowhere. But Monday morning, they're going to get an earful. Trust me. Believe you and me. You know, I am going to defend the underdog, the poor. That's what the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the King Henrys, that's what they do. Pure and simple. They pass the buck. Passing the buck. So the passing the buck star of today's show is Patty Murray's office. Thank you very much. But however, when I called Representative Acosta's office, she took my name and my number, and I'm going to call him again Monday to check and see how he's doing. Okay, that's enough for passing the buck. Patty Murray is this week's winner of Passing the Buck. HR 2835, the federal level patient protection bill, which keeps getting shot down because it's a Schedule I drug. Cannabis and hemp are exactly like crack. Yes, folks, you heard me. Exactly like crack. Can you believe it? Yeah, though that's another Rockefeller and a Rothschild deal. That's pretty much when corporations took over, folks, but back then they called them textiles. You know, words change all the time. Words change all the time and evolve. So that's what we're looking at, folks. That's who we're up against. Can't get no federal protection until cannabis and hemp are rescheduled. And as soon as it is, people are going to start growing it. You watch. There's going to be change. People want change. We the people want change, and all we got to do is stand up and do it. That's why I'm announcing today that I am going to go up against Governor Christine Gregoire for governor. If you vote me in, I will exercise executive powers. Our president, Mr. Obama, is thinking about exercising his executive powers. Write me in. This would be great, because if that woman in Alaska can get wrote in, anybody can do it, because I would have voted for the guy. The guy that contested, I would have voted for him because he's a constitutionalist, and she's not. But anyhow, if she can do it, I can do it. And believe you and me, folks, I have a plan to pull this state out, and I would exercise my executive powers. I would exercise my constitutional rights. And that is the party I'm running under. If I have to be labeled, okay, label me a constitutionalist, because that's what I am. I believe in the Constitution. The Constitution is not a relic, regardless of what some people on the Hill want to treat it like. Speaking of that, Chicago. If you live in Chicago and Washington, D.C., you have no gun rights. Gun rights are voided in those areas, and we allowed it in Washington, D.C. because they're like, oh, the politicians need to be protected. Well, if they took advantage of the technology we have today and used Skype, and then we wouldn't be spending that money on all that jet fuel to fly their asses back and forth. They could go sit in an office in their house. That would be the requirement. They would have to have a house big enough to have one separate room, and it would have to be remodeled by the Secret Service, have all the soundproof, you know, all the bulletproofing, panic room, the whole 9 yards, and conduct Congress at the convenience of their own home. And that would cut. But anyhow, this has to do with gun rights and the NRA. I love the NRA. I love Charlton Heston, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to renew my whatever because I have a Second Amendment right, and anybody that talks to the UN and tries to do a backdoor secret deal, no, I don't trust people like that. Why did you do that? Because you're corporatized. You get donations, you make lots of money, blah, 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 blah. Psh, whatever. Anyhow, they're sending an urgent legal notice, blah, 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 because evidently Chicago is going to have a hearing. I'm sorry, but I think as a United States citizen, you should have the right to protect yourself, period. Gun banning does one thing. Look at Mexico. They are a prime, perfect example. They disarmed their citizens. Now the only people down there that have guns are the crooked cops. crooked federales and the crooked military and the crooks. The good people have no way to defend themselves, and they're coming over in the droves asking for amnesty, for fuck's sakes. I do not blame those people. We need to repeal a lot of things, and prohibition on hemp and cannabis is one of them. It's a huge mistake. We could have Mexico growing hemp all year round for us. We could build factories right here in the state of Washington to process this shit. We can hire truckers to drive down there and hire some truckers. I'll negotiate with it. I'll give some Mexicans down there some jobs. They can drive up, have like a meeting point. Boom, boom, boom. So your drivers are home all on the weekends or whatever, you know, but if it's an emergency and we need overtime, whatever. I have a plan. You know, some of it's going to be ugly. Some of it's going to be really ugly, but it's going to hit the right people. You know, it's going to hit the right people. My plan will. And all it's going to do is build and grow. That's all it's going to do. So enough about me running for governor. If you want to write me in, I'm going to try to advertise as much as possible. Like I said, I have a fence that faces the freeway, people. So I'm going to take advantage of that. So gun bans are not good. And that's when shit's going to hit the fan. People are talking civil war and civil unrest and all this shit. That's when it's going to happen. See, we ain't hearing nothing out of the Obama administration about TSA about it. They're just not going to say nothing. And sometimes not saying anything can be more scary than actually saying something. Anyhow, on to my next subject. Homeland Security. Janet. Grow your fucking hair out, woman. The short butch doesn't look good on you because a lot of the stuff you wear is femmy, and that clashes with what you're going with, sister. Besides that, your face can't carry that hairdo. It can't, sister. I see you in a bob, a layered bob. Grow your hair out, sister, because all you look like a sex change that went horribly wrong. Okay, come on. Honestly, I'm being honest. You know, if I had a booger hanging out of my nose, please tell me. You know, and I'm just telling you about the booger hanging out of your nose. That hairdo, woman. Ugh. If you want anybody to take seriously, grow the hair out. Soften yourself up a little bit because you don't look good in it. Sorry. Ron Paul, speaking of Homeland Security, has put forth the bill. And guess who supports it? The gentleman that developed TSA. He said, he admits that was a horrible mistake. That was a monster. Yeah, we need to put the monster back in the closet. That's his opinion. I'm like, woo, at least you see this. The picture in the Denver paper of the TSA worker down on their knees with their shit in his shit. I was just like, oh my God, they really do grab their balls and stuff. Oh, heck no. That's just that. No. Vigilance is what's going to keep us alive. They're never... You know, and if they do attack us, oh well, let's defend ourselves. Let's not have 724 military bases worldwide that we got to fork out money to run. Hitler, isn't that what Hitler wanted to do? Think about it, folks. Contrastically speaking, isn't that what Hitler wanted to do? Want to take over the world? We are not the fucking world police, okay? Shit. Ron Paul, buddy. I can't impress upon you enough how much I want you to run, sir. Please, don't make me do another video. Yes, that's right, folks. If you type into YouTube, please, Mr. Paul, it'll pull up my video. I cry like a bitch in it. Sorry, I cried. I'm emotional about it because it's a very emotional thing. Anyhow, folks, like I said, oh, one last thing. Let's take the TSA thing a step further. Okay. On November 24th, instead of opting out, don't opt out. Call the airline. Yes, I'd like to cancel my flight. If everybody boycotts flying that day and stays home, the millions and billions of dollars that would be lost on that day would be enough for the airline. Oh, hey, they're taking money out of our pocket. Do that, folks. Boycott flying. Stay home. Eat your little pressed turkey dinner with the gravy, remember? while all those gold ball sacks motherfuckers are in Hawaii eating fucking roast pig and fresh pineapple. Remember that, folks. Anyhow, like I said, trust nobody.